Imagine being a vampire, a teenage vampire with super vampire hearing, and your parents wouldn't in the coffin next to you. Girl, I say, Lord, I traumatized for her. Let me just tell y'all right now, I love Claudia. Claudia is the moment, the voice of reason. She come in the show and I was like, oh yes, thank God somebody could see this goddamn slave master for years. Oh, and you know what's the best part of what made Claudia's emergence into Louis and Lestat's relationship so funny to me? I swear to y'all, Claudia is to them what Asada was to our household son. Like, when I rescue Asada off the street and CJ already didn't want that cat.
I don't do crackhead cats. Everybody's disgruntled. The cat is disgruntled, Raheem's gonna be disgruntled, and I'm gonna be disgruntled.
And I'm like, oh no man, she could be great. And then Asada was feral and violently attacking and torturing everybody that walked into our house for months. Listen, that was just same way Lestat is beside I and Claudia. That was CJ every time, like, that's your cat. Like, that is your cat. But anyway, let's take it from the top. Episode 4. This episode introduces us to my bitch. Actually, not even my bitch, that bitch, okay, Claudia. Instead of having this episode narrated through Louis, Malloy's actually reading Claudia's diaries, and he's hearing about, you know, the beginning years of their life via Claudia's recollection. And I can tell y'all right now, Malloy don't be on Claudia run, but I stand for Claudia's rights or wrongs, and most importantly, my bitch is never wrong. First of all, Claudia had plenty of sense from jump, right? She opens up by talking about the fire that killed her auntie and how she just waited for the fire to take her. And when she looked, she saw a black angel saving her. And she said a black angel take her back to, you know, where she thought, okay, the pain will pass. I could get ready to rejoin my mommy and all my other dead family soon. But she said instead, the pain passing and her going to heaven, it actually started to get worse. And by the time she looked, she was a blood-sucking demon. And who she thought was, she thought Louis was a black angel up until the white devil pop up, and then she realized, oh shit, these are demons. But let me tell you right now, Lestat wasn't with that from jump. Louis come home and bring in Lestat said, I know this ain't back to meddling in humans' business. This learn. He caused the fire and now he coming home with a child. And Louis was like, please man. He save her. He begged him, and so he do it, right? But Lestat already wasn't into that. Now here's the thing about Claudia. Claudia immediately come, and I mean, she really is Louis and Lestat's love child, because Louis is her daddy. Like, she love up Louis, but what she take after Lestat is the love of blood. My gal is tear up people. And like a real gangster, the first person she gonna and kill, Louis and Lestat gonna go take her to go eat one man in the park. And she look at him, and this Louis getting, oh, maybe she take after me, maybe she into killing people. Quick as that. She does she takes after Lestat, but she also takes after Louis, because she goes and finds a soldier to kill, but she do it real Lestat-ish, like, let me sing and scare and learn and kill him, right? But that's very Louis. Let's kill the white establishment, right? She going to go kill this white soldier who was out here talking down to her because she's a little girl. So giving very Louis, but murking him up in glorious fashion. Also very Louis, you know, thinking about last episode's events, but also very Lestat. From the minute Claudia come into their life, Lestat immediately start feeling jealous and insecure. Because he make Louis and Claudia, he can't hear their thoughts, so they is be communicating to each other, and off rip, Lestat is like, none of that. There can't be no secrets in this family, which is funny, because all Lestat do is lie. So we start seeing the early years of Claudia's life with Louis and Lestat, right? While she's still an adolescent. She running around, my girl having insatiable hunger. She want murder everybody because she's stuck in her like teenage metabolism, since that's when they make her, and Lestat can't stand it. But Louis over there like, my daughter, my child. So she around the place murking the people. You're seeing she really likes to write. She be in her diary. She be all in the coffin with Louis and Lestat, keeping them up late. Lestat is one miserable, cantankerous Jesus Christ, go to sleep. Every time she asks him too much questions, because she's be asking him plenty questions because she's smart. My girl's like, wait, so who made you? If you made us, who made you? And XYZ and yada yada yada. And Lestat don't never answer. And Claudia's be like, Louis, you notice how you don't answer none of our questions? She is called Louis Daddy Lou, and she is called Lestat Uncle Les, right? And she was like, you notice Uncle Les don't answer none of our questions? You don't find that interesting? Like, y'all say there's no secrets, but he keep plenty secrets. And Louis, ever the Lestat simp is like, oh, Lestat is a lot older than us. You know, old people, they don't like, you know, revisiting the past sometimes. You should be careful where you pry. And she's like, so you say, interesting. So Louis, y'all know Louis is a simp. Louis got on my damn nerves, right? So when he tried to feed Claudia this, like, oh, you know, Lestat just old people don't like to be asked a bunch of questions, you know, be careful what you ask him. And Claudia's like, so where he's be going when he go off alone? You ever notice that? You ever notice that he's be going places by himself? And this Louis Louis can say, Louis is like, oh, you know, he likes to kill extravagantly, and he know I don't like to see it, so he goes off, you know, to you know, sort of be mindful of me. Very demure, very mindful. We could get back to it. But Louis is such a good parent to Claudia though, right? Because in this moment where they on the boat, I thought they had two like really profound conversations. Like, I'm not even being funny. When she asked him what's it like for two men to be in love? Like, how do two men love each other? And he was like, it's the same. It's the same as other folk, right? And I thought that was nice. I thought that was a very just like human element. And then two, he goes to go eat a fish. And when he goes to eat the fish, Claudia's like, ew, there's no way that you could like that. And he was like, I tried to. He was like, but it's not just about what you eat. It's also about how you do it. Even if you want to be somebody who has to eat people or kill people as a vampire, like you could do it quick and painless, or you could be a sick fucking bitch like your other daddy. It's up to you. It's up to you. But then he made sure to say, like, I'm not perfect. I'm saying this, I've gotten carried away before. In fact, me getting carried away with one of my kills was the result of, is what caused that fire that killed your auntie and took you. And I thought that was amazing, right? Because like normally I think in stories like this, you would expect that to be some kind of deep secret, especially with like, as it goes on, you realize like Claudia is a teenage girl who died and now is stuck in her teenage body and going through that. And so like as a vampire, she's very upset and she'll come to be resentful and stuff like that. But it said a lot about Louis that he still told Claudia, like he told Claudia up front, like, I caused this fire. He didn't keep that secret from her, and they had that right and open. Because you know, in Lestat, if it had been him, she didn't know. He'd have blamed somebody else for the fire and all. But you continue to see, you know, their little life together, essentially montage you going through the years with them. And what was funny was when they gone to get Claudia her own coffin, right? They can't just walk in there and be like, we picking coffins because we vampires and that's what we sleep in. So Louis and Lestat cook up the story to give the funeral home man, like, oh, you know, she only got a little bit more to live, so we trying to get a coffin for her to make it comfortable. But here go Claudia in the pink coffin, like, wait, this is excellent, this is lit. The man was like, no man, something ain't right here. I think y'all should go. Quick as that they murdered a man. I say, well, Chuck, I like y'all didn't have to kill that man. Like y'all didn't have to kill him. So he thinks y'all are a little weird. Just, if anything, just rob him. Take the coffin and go. They murdered that poor man just for being a little concerned, just being a little perturbed. And I was dead happy for Claudia though that she get that coffin, because before that, Louis and Lestat right next door, they in the coffin next door. Imagine being a vampire, a teenage vampire with super vampire hearing, and your parents wouldn't in the coffin next to you. Girl, I say, Lord, I traumatized for her. Whenever we see Malloy in this episode, he's be bullying Louis' little assistant Rashid, right? He's like, when he next see Rashid, he see Rashid praying to Muhammad. He say, oh, you allowed to worship Muhammad? Muhammad know your God is a vampire? That cool with him? Islam fine with that, eh? and my boy was like, any are you enjoying your reading? And Malloy was like, I mean, yeah, for a teenage serial killer, she's not half bad. Now, Louis bitch ass mummy die. And let's talk about this wake, because to disrespect up my blood pressure up right now, right? So they call Louis after they ain't call Louis to invite him to nothing in God knows how long, but they call to invite him to the wake, right? It's kill me at 8. They call to invite him to the wake only to be looking at him think the whole time. Like Louis ain't never do none of these people other than pay their bills, and they always seem to have a attitude, right? Louis, so they get to the wake. Louis, Lestat, and Claudia gone to the wake. Claudia standing up, like looking at the body, right? Grace and her bitch ass husband walk up to Claudia and they ask her like who she is or whatever, and she was like, oh, she's here with her daddy and her uncle. And that's when Louis come over and he was like, oh yes, like that's my daughter, right? Like, which she'd already told him and he already said, and then they could say, that's your daughter? Like, bitch, don't piss me off, right?
The audacity on that bitch is crazy.
And so then he was like, yes, I adopted off Liberty Street after the fires and did right by her. And Grace and this have the nerve to fix their mouth and be like, do you think like you and her uncle are the kind of people who should be adopting an orphan? And I'm like,
my disappointment is immeasurable.
What, bitch? Like,
And my day is ruined.
so, and then, quick as that, then she can have the nerve to fix him out and say, don't bring them, maybe you shouldn't bring them to the funeral tomorrow. And I'm like, what the is these people problem, babe? Like, you invite him, you know he with this white man, and now you just learn that's his child. You could say he ain't the kind of people that should be adopting an orphan, but you the kind of bitch that'll put an orphan out of a funeral for her Grammy. Like, what did she do to you? Like, what are they do? Like, what are they doing? Like, what are they doing to them? So then, in the same breath of just not trying to tell him don't bring his child and his husband to the damn funeral, they have the nerve with all the contempt to be like, let's talk about the house, which is the real reason they invite him. They didn't truly invite him to the wake because his mommy died or because they give a about him. They invite him because they want something, and they still being rude and talking to him with contempt. So they could say, we want you to sell us the house and we can't pay what it's worth and you don't need the money.
The audacity on that bitch is crazy.
Let me tell you something. I keep saying it. I've said it before. I can say it again. Louis better than me because they would have been homeless. How you figure? You bring me, oh, I don't need the money. I don't need my money. Oh, are you figure? Oh, no, sir. You couldn't, listen, could not have been me. So then they keep having hard mouth with him. And Louis was like, let me just let y'all know. Let me remind y'all. You remember what I did that I off? Don't cause me break y'all head off. Mind yourself. Then Lestat and Claudia come over like, can we go? Like, this place is literally the ghetto. And Louis still agreed to sell them the house. And I wish Louis, like, I really don't like how Louis is like, people eternally play with him, you know. Like, they wasn't getting that house. I promise you, they would have been walking down Liberty Street looking for $1 in a dream. Like, promise you that. Claudia don't love Lestat as much as she love Louis, right? Like I say, Louis is her daddy and Lestat is her uncle, but what in her mind, but what she do really bond with him about is they like to kill, you know? So Lestat and Claudia gone off on their own, and Lestat take her to go kill this young couple. So they gone and massacre this young couple together. Listen, I love my bitch Claudia, and like I say, I stand with her for everything. But the way she roll up on them people like a little doll, being dead, scary. But this young couple was right when they going to kill them, right? And so when she see that, that's kind of like her first like recognition, like, oh shit, I'm like, I could be sexual. I haven't had sex. I haven't had these experiences. So from there, she was immediately like, oh, I've been like, I'm 18 and I'm still dressed like a little girl. Like, and then immediately she gonna go kill some gal by the speakeasy so she could take all the gal clothes. But then as she walking down the street feeling dead good about herself, here go these racist white bitches across the street talking shit. Like, it ain't bad enough already, like that these racist white people could say whatever they want to them in this time period, but she could read their mind. So she had him and she gonna get upset. And you know, when Claudia gets upset, Claudia kills. So immediately fangs out. But when she put her fangs out, the horse that was coming up gets scared and that distract her for a second. And then the boy who was on the horse going to like protect her. And it was this little cute boy named Charlie. And from that minute on, she trip off of Charlie. But Lord, I ain't even gonna waste y'all time because let me tell you how that gone. All right, her and Charlie was dead cute for all of the 5 minutes before she and Charlie start making out. My girl get carried away, and what you think happened? She drained him dry. Now, when she drained him dry, obviously big trauma. She takes him home. She's like panicking, screaming, begging Lestat to like change him, save him, make him a vampire too. But Lestat is like, we can't make him a vampire. You kill him, he's dead. And like when I tell you, Lestat stopped being cold as my girl is crying. She is like, imagine your first little crush. You go lose your virginity and you murk him, right? Lestat couldn't get. When I tell you Lestat, they're giggling. The girl traumatized. Lestat is like, go clean up after yourself. Go incinerate him. And then he go and make her watch him in the incinerator. He was like, watch him melt, and that'll teach you to stay out of human affairs. And I'm like, that's crazy. She ain't allowed to like a human. But what was Louis? A human. Was Louis not a human? And who does Lestat cheat on Louis with? Antoinette, a whole human bitch. I'm telling you, let me tell you something about the white man. Not the white man, the white devil. The hypocrisy is never ending. So he be dead cold with Claudia, and I'm telling you, that was the moment. I could tell you all the different moments that Lestat became Claudia's enemy, okay? That's the moment Claudia stopped with Lestat. When he decided to be a cold piece of shit over Charlie, Claudia say, okay, I don't with this. Back with Malloy and them, we finally see Louis for the episode, right? Louis come out and he's like, oh, how are you enjoying the diaries? And like, Malloy is like, I mean, yes, given very much so Stephen King meets Anne Frank. Like, yes, your little serial killer daughter can write. Like, Malloy was like, but actually, like, let's worry about your daughter's writing abilities later. Let me ask you something. Where the f were these diaries back in 1973, hun? And Louis was like, they were scattered, you know, some in Paris, some in such a place, some in such a place. Malloy was like, talk, okay? Talk, I don't believe you. Where the are diaries? And Louis was like, if you happen to stumble upon your child's diaries and realize all the ways you failed as a father, would you just like, I don't know, give it to some young piece of shit reporter? Like, no, perhaps you wouldn't. And I'm just like, and Malloy accept that answer from him, but I'm just like, Louis, no one put a gun to your head and told you had to pick this random reporter and tell all your business. That's you who decided to do that. You voluntarily taken on this undertaking. So if he's good enough for you to tell your whole life story and confess your whole vampire-y, gothic trauma bond and all this shit, with that boy, shut up. But listen, when I tell you, the girl who's played Claudia is be acting down. Louis is like, from the minute Charlie died, that ushered in like the darkest era of their lives, right? Like, but when I tell you, Claudia start acting. She gives us a little monologue at the end of the episode. Let me try. I did write some of it, man, because it really was so hard. Like, just the way she was doing it, I feel like, Aaron, you just got to put her on screen and y'all can just see how she's in the coffin, like just doing all these emotions while Lestat and Louis rowing about Lestat being a piece of shit towards her over Charlie dying, right? But she's giving this little monologue and she was like, well, let me see it. She writing to the diary and she's like, you would think a girl whose mama died in childbirth, whose daddy gave her away to a mean old auntie who died in a fire but came back by the blood magic of 2 demons, you think that girl wouldn't know how to laugh, but you'd be wrong. And if I told you that same girl was being raised by her demon parents to take 2 souls a day so she could stay in the same flat-chested 14-year-old baby doll body as her mind and spirit continued to age, I'd bet you say, how does she even get up in the morning? But I'm doing just fine because the first man I killed called me the devil, and the last boy I killed and the last man I'll ever love in this earth called me an angel. So that means I'm on the right path. There's so much more fun to have. I'm just getting started. And my girl put her hand in the sun to burn because she's a bitch who like to live on the edge. Let me tell you something. I love Claudia and I love her in every era. Like this little and let me tell you, the actress, like when I tell you that actress deserve a award, because in this episode, right, it's basically like the early years with Claudia, right? Like we get her seeming like in her truest, like youngest adolescent, wild all over the place, right? And then in the next episode 5, we're gonna get her in like her like still kind of in that, you know what I mean? Still kind of like wild and trying to figure herself out or whatever, and then getting like older and more mature and coming back, and like you feel that it feels like this girl like actually aging, even though it's the same actress, like she's giving that. And then in the next episodes, like my girl is a fully formed, like this bitch run shit, like she just, I love Claudia. I love Claudia down. Y'all should subscribe to the Patreon. I put, for the people who want to hear me doing all my cursing, we put the uncensored versions of every recap on the Patreon, so do that.